Hey everyone, we made it to the Hoosac train tunnel in Florida, Massachusetts. It's gonna be dark within the hour. We probably only have a good half an hour of good light. We might see some trains tonight. I decided to park over there in the fishing area. Hopefully we don't have any company here tonight. We're gonna stealth camp down here today. I'm imagining the one other vehicle is somebody fishing. There's no one in that truck. And if they were here for trains or doing the hiking trail, they'd probably be right here. No one's in that red pickup over there. I showed up here late at night with the intention that nobody would use this hiking trail, which is right next to where I want to camp tonight. Right here's the memorial for the people who died building the Hoosac Tunnel. When the Hoosac Tunnel originally opened, it had two tracks next to each other. Note, trains back then were usually smaller. They just put one now and they hollowed out the ceiling so they could have double stacked containers fit through here now. So what we're walking right now is actually a hiking trail. There's a bench. You can watch trains. Right here, it's pretty dried up. We had a dry year. Looking at the drought monitor, this part of Massachusetts is only slightly dry. Up north, we had the worst drought ever. Southern New England on the drought monitor is just a little dry. This right here I think is minor drought, this area, but it's been raining all week, so that's got to be helping. None of the rivers are rising, so that means everything is getting absorbed. So years ago, the railroad company told me, we only get mad when people go into the tunnel. We're not going into the tunnel. But this right here is the hiking trail. Years ago, there was a big barrier there to stop rocks from tumbling through that culvert right there. Well, the railroad company just smashed it out of the way instead of fixing it. But today, we want to try camping up there on top of the tunnel. I was up here in the spring, back when I had the rental truck. Is someone in there? Or did I just hear water dripping? I think I'm just hearing water dripping. There's someone around here somewhere. But years ago, when they were building the tunnel, they used water pressure to create electricity and to power their tools. There's what's left of a little dam up there for hydroelectric power. We'll take a hike up there in the morning as soon as the sun comes up, because I'll probably wake up real early camping. I want to take the tent down probably first thing in the morning. Alright, this is pretty steep. I threw my backpack up there first. These rocks are slippery. So should I go up and over probably? Or should I crawl through the little tunnel? Okay, we're going up. Okay. Ooh. Yeah, I don't want to lose my balance and fall backwards. That's why I put my pack up here first. But look at this nice flat spot to set up a tent. we got a camouflage tent. And we'll be back in here a little bit so nobody would see us. Look how beautiful this is. Look at this nice flat spot to sleep. You know how cool this will be when a train's coming by? If we get the chance to film it. Even in the middle of the night, that'll be cool. I got my little tiny tripod. I can just put it right here in the night and no one will ever see me. It's cool. Let's set up. Even if a hiker does come by, unless they come up here, they're not gonna know. But I do think that guy's probably fishing. Alright, almost pumped up. We just gotta pressurize it so it's nice and firm. And it will lose a little bit of pressure as it gets colder tonight. Today made it to about 80 degrees. That's about 26 Celsius. Tonight's gonna get down to about 52 or 11 Celsius. Not gonna be that cold of a night. I did bring a blanket and a jacket. The jacket's fluorescent, but I'm obviously not gonna wear it out here. It's just in case I get chilly at night, I don't have to leave. Oh, there's leaves on it. I'm on off. Okay, it's only where I was applying pressure by pumping it. Okay. All right, let me show you my camp because it's about to get dark. So we are up here on top of the train tracks with this wide barrier here. Even the height of the tent, I don't think anyone's gonna notice it, especially now that it's getting dark. And the good thing about this tent is a lot of tents will have tiny little reflective strings and stuff. Is this reflective actually? No, I don't think it is. I don't think even if someone shines a flashlight that they would notice this. It's a nice camouflage color, no reflectiveness. I bought this one because it has very little ventilation. It's good for colder camps. Oh, this is the same camp I use in the Everglades. It was bad. Oh, no ventilation in that humidity. That wasn't good. But before it gets completely dark, I want to run back down here and see. Can you see it from up here? And then I'm going to come back up here and we're not going to move until the sun comes up in the morning. It is now 6:50 at night. It's going to get dark very soon. Sun comes up, I believe, around 6 or 7 this time of year. So the fall foliage up north is at peak. There's lots of tourists this weekend. This is a Friday night. You know, kids and people might be coming out here tonight. I don't think so, really. I think we'll be left alone even though it's this day. We're starting to get some good fall color. Around here, there's not a lot of maples on this road. There's a lot of ash and birch, and I brought earplugs for obvious reasons. I'll probably feel the train too. It's gonna rumble up here, I'm sure. Okay, let's get down very carefully. It's very, very steep. Okay, adjust the camera so it adds a little bit of light. Don't fall. Go on, don't fall, because there is no signal out here at all. All right, let's get down. We'll hike this in the morning before we head on out of here. It's still actually kind of hot out here for my liking, so I can't wait until it gets a little colder. Oh, it got dark enough, the street light down there turned on. I like how it looks like they put some gravel. They actually made the trail nicer, because it used to start, you had to walk a little bit there. But yeah, at least from here, you cannot tell there's a tent up there. Even I'm looking for, oh, that must be the top of the tent. But no one's gonna know what that is unless they know it's a tent. Let's get a little bit further away. See if we can tell at all. Then we're gonna get back to our spot. Yeah, I think we found the perfect spot. No one's gonna know what that is unless they know what they're looking at. And if I need to do anything in the middle of the night, I'll just use a red lamp. You can't see that well from a distance. Okay, it's getting dark quickly this time of year. Let's get back up there. You know, the sun's set behind this mountain, so it was dim even a half an hour before I got here. The ride up here was pretty scenic and beautiful. This is cool. Let's hope I can sleep well up here. Okay. Alright, we're getting back up. Grabbing onto these rocks. Okay. Pretty awesome. Let me get a view from up here. Gotta watch myself, there's a lot of holes right here. That's awesome. I'm not gonna try to go up here, that's very, very steep. These rocks are all wet and slippery. I guess while I'm sitting here bored, I'll put this video together a little bit. I could probably get up there to this spot right here. How steep is that on the end? Oh yeah, before it gets too dark, I got some nice trees I can grab onto. This is a little bit of a challenge, this part, but let's get up here so I can get a view of the tent and the tracks from a very high vantage point. Whew. I'm sweating and boiling right now. Ooh. Bet my face is bright red. This is awesome. This is a lot of work climbing and monkeying around these hills. I'm sweating. That was harder getting back down. It's so steep. At least this part looks like it actually has little steps that are grooved into it. This makes things a lot easier. Okay. Almost back. Trying not to fall here. All right. I think we're safe now. Back down onto the beautiful granite wall. I'm sweating so much that I took my pants off. See how it has that little reflective line on it? A lot of tents have that. This one does not. Took my shoes off. I'll put those in here with me tonight. I think I'm gonna take my shirt off too. The humidity is just killing me now after going up that hill. All right, it's getting dark now. All right, everyone, it's getting dark now. Someone just turned around in the parking lot. I can't tell if they left or shut their headlights off and are looking for a train. I can't tell. All right, everyone, it's 7:15. I can kind of see. I'm not gonna fall off or anything. It's not completely dark yet. I can't tell if there's someone in their car or not waiting for the train, or if they just were turning around. But there's gravel everywhere, so I would definitely hear somebody if they were walking down there. But I'm gonna stay up for at least a couple hours, and hopefully we're gonna see a train before I go to sleep. I'll stay up until like maybe 11 before I try to get some sleep. That's about maybe another 4 hours. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, yeah. I know you can't really see much of anything. You don't really need to. So there's a beautiful sound of crickets. I hear the water trickling. It's really, really nice. But I do think these cliffs, all these rock formations with a bunch of holes and stuff in them, also the brickwork with a bunch of gaps, I think a lot of mice live up here. I can smell lots of what smells like rodent piss. They'll leave me alone. I literally didn't bring any food up here. All I brought is a bottle of water. I don't intend on eating up here or attracting anything. I got my brightness down all the way, so it's probably gonna look better than I'm thinking. You can see the street lamp down there. I'm up here actually holding on to that pyramid thing. I can see up here with the naked eye perfectly. It's perfect temperature to just hang out. It's like room temperature right now. It's beautiful. I hear flying squirrels, or maybe it's bats. They both make similar squeaks into the night. This is really nice up here, actually. I really want to see a train. I hope it comes sooner than later, because once I see one, I'm going to try to get some sleep. It's 8 at night. I just heard a big crash. Something ran down the hill and tripped. I think it's probably a deer. Hopefully it's not something trying to sniff me out. There's something out there. Peace and quiet then. What sounded like a tree falling over, but I think it was an animal running down the hill and tripped on a tree. I don't hear it anymore. Oh, it's just leaves falling on the tent. Thought maybe a mouse was walking around. It's leaves falling. I guess a tree could have just fallen over. It might not have been a deer. Okay, I got a red lamp. Can't really see that outside. I gotta go outside. Use the bathroom real quick. Hopefully no one's down there. It's gonna see this. Okay, you can barely see this light inside the tent. I'm still not gonna leave it on. I'm just gonna stay up for a couple more hours and hopefully see a train. It's 9:15. Outside is beautiful. There's so many stars. It's actually kind of light outside a little bit where I could walk around without flashlights if I wanted. I thought I was imagining things, but over the past 5 minutes I've been hearing a pulsing sound, slowly getting louder and louder. I feel like that's the locomotive's engine. You can feel it pulsing from a very far distance. I'm just waiting to suddenly hear the chimes at the road. Then I'm going to go outside real quick. I hear a pulsing. I can't tell if it's coming from in the tunnel or far away in the valley. Feel a pulsing noise. I feel like it's a locomotive. We're going to find out soon. Oh yeah, it's underneath me. I see a headlight coming out. Can you see that? I don't want to get my ears blasted by this horn. I want to be able to keep the camera straight, so I'm going to put earplugs on real fast. It's going to be probably at least another minute before it gets to the end of the tunnel. I hope. Come on. I'm trying to open earplugs in the dark. Okay, got one in my ear. Okay, let's get the other one in. Come on. Can't see what I'm doing. Okay, there's a piece of plastic still on it. I don't want to get that lost in my ear. Come on off. Okay, I'm twisting the other one, inserting it into my ear because it's going to get loud. Let me put my shoes on real quick. Just so I can stand a little closer to the edge. Earplugs is where I don't get startled. Oh, I hear the bells at the road. Wow. Look at that light. Okay, this is the edge. Here it comes. It's right underneath us. I think it's going kind of slow. I can't really feel it. I can only feel it on my eardrums. Okay, I got the earplugs in because I know it's about to blow its horn as soon as it gets out, and that's so close to me, that air horn. I could barely hear that with the earplugs in. I can't see a thing, but I know there's a train coming out of that tunnel right now. I really don't want to put a light on in case there's a rail fan down there. I don't want them noticing me. But I am going to turn my light on just for a moment so you can look down. Alright, look. 1, 2, 3. Ooh, wow. Look at that. Anyone's here. Oh, actually, yeah, there is a rail fan here. I see a tail light there. Nope. That's the crossing gate. Never mind. I see it flicking back and forth. As far as I know, we're alone, but I'm gonna keep the lights off. I don't know if you can see, but there are a lot of stars up there. Alright, I'm gonna try to get some sleep now. Let me take the earplugs out. Oh wow, it is pretty loud. And you know what? Unbelievably, you cannot feel the train up here at all. There's no vibrations at all. The only vibrations are in the air. I could feel that thing pulsing halfway through the tunnel, and I could feel it long before I said anything. I just thought maybe I was hearing things, or it could have been anything pulsing, really. But it was a train. And yeah, I think with the earplugs I could actually get some sleep and sleep through a train. Although I would like to get one head on. But I'd have to duck. Okay. Time to go to bed. Look at that. I was ripping it apart in the dark, unable to see. And I do have to blow up my air mattress a little bit. It kinda got flat because it's getting colder out. I gotta add a little bit of air. So you just open it, you pump. Wow, that's loud. There's a flat wheel somewhere. Boom, boom, boom. Listen to that. There's a lot of racket going on down there. It's a long train. Well, there's the end of the train. It's finally gonna start getting quiet. About a dozen trains use this thing a day, so we'll probably see more tonight. If it's an oncoming one, I will try to film that, and we'll have plenty of warning if it's oncoming, because there's another road that it has to blow its horn at, like a mile or two away, and you'll hear that. Good night, everyone. It's finally starting to get cooler out. I got my earplugs in. I think I'm gonna sleep through a train. All right, it's midnight now. Good morning, everyone. It's 6 o'clock. I can see a glimmer of the sun starting to come out. I think this air mattress has a leak. Feels like it's gone flat. Well, I guess I'll pump it up when I get home, and I'll throw it into the bathtub with some soapy water. Figure out if I can see if it's leaking or not. They don't cost too much, so I'm not really worried about it. They do work really good, but that's the second one I've popped. Alright, I just got everything packed away pretty good. There's my little tripod, bottle of water. I'll have a good drink once I get outside. I gotta use the bathroom again. So I rolled up the sleeping bag. I stuffed the blanket and my hoodie into the pack. We're all set up. I can take the tent down, fold up the tarp in like 5 minutes. Just waiting for the sun to come up. It's still dim, but I'll take you outside. Yeah, the sky's starting to get light. I can see what I'm doing. I can walk around confidently. My eyes are adjusted. There's leaves falling everywhere. You could hear that all night. It was actually kind of peaceful. Yeah, you can't see a thing, can you? It's still super dark. All right, it's now 6:30 in the morning. You can finally start to see a bit. I'm hearing noises coming from the tunnel. groaning noises. I feel like the train's in there. I feel like we might see another. I heard coyotes howling earlier, all echoey. I feel like they were in the tunnel, at least the entrance. A lot of echoing, howling, and a bit of hooing. There's definitely owls in these woods. All right, everyone. We got everything here packed up. Just waiting for the sun to come up a little more. I'm gonna hang out up here for a little bit. Then we're gonna do this hike. It's only about a half-hour round trip. It's a little tricky in some spots. Don't go up there if you don't have good balance. I'll show you why. Look at that water trickling through the ties. They used to have a tiny culvert there. It was a PVC pipe, but for the longest time they had that gray PVC pipe, which is for electrical work. Now they just left a slot without ballast because they completely redid the tracks here. They were in horrible shape a couple visits ago. Now that retaining wall needs to be looked at some point. I think during a flood that's going to wash out because there's already a couple sinkages on that hill where you see it sliding and there's water coming out of there, especially when the water's running real good. This is a nice little place. This kind of reminds me of like the walls they have around some of the cemeteries. Those rocks are wet and slippery. It's so steep you gotta go down that backwards like a ladder. But there's a good amount of spots to grab onto. And look at some of that fog above the river forming. All right, I'm gonna go dump my heavy backpack off at the car. Then we're gonna do the trail. And this is beautiful. I remember the days that this culvert actually used to work. But look how soft that plastic is. Of course it collapsed. Doesn't work anymore. Look at that beautiful early morning fog. I wonder if the roads will still be foggy by the time we get out of here. All right. I dropped my backpack off at the car. Let's go do that hike. Then we'll take a look at a few other things also. Like there's a tunnel right here. Like one of the best old stone culverts. But it's got damage in the middle that I'm sure they didn't fix. Let's see. Let's Go down and see the beautiful culvert. See, there's no water really coming out of it, which is concerning because there's water going into it. It's sinking into the ground where it's damaged. This is a big riverbed. You know sometimes this thing blasts. Now there's just the slightest little trickle. My first pair of big high boots was actually to get through this flood to go in there. The water was pretty deep. Now there's barely anything. I could probably get in there without even getting my sneakers dry. That's beautiful. So you see the amount of water entering the thing, but there's very little water leaving. Too bad I didn't come here during the drought. We could have set up a tent right here. I bet that little trickle wasn't going over the top. Beautiful craftsmanship. Now it starts with like a 10-foot by 4-foot entrance. But the other end, as I showed last night and I'll show again, is the complete opposite. The other end, you got a crouch walking through it and it's really wide. They didn't keep the same shape going through for some reason. But maybe there's a genius explanation why. When it gets smaller like this towards the floor, the water's moving faster. But maybe the entrance was wider so there wouldn't be as much current to drag junk in there. But then you're creating a bottleneck. But I've walked that numerous times. Comes out over there. I've never found a blockage. This is just an area where the current has eroded a huge hole in the floor and it's undermining the walls really slowly. Now that culvert has been there since the 1800s. I don't ever see them replacing it with something that would last longer. So they should fix what they have. I slept pretty good last night. I got a couple hours of sleep, then the train came by at midnight. Then I slept until 6 in the morning, and I don't think another train came by at any point during that. Now over here, if you were to walk into the woods, you're gonna find a giant hole that they were digging. Originally, they had the alignment of where the tunnel was gonna meet up with the other side a little wrong. And here you see kids keep stealing the rocks, throwing them off. But here's the other side. See? Very wide, very short. Who knows? That could have just filled in. Who knows how deep these rocks go. But up here, there's an actual floor. But if you kept that angle right there and this wasn't filled in, who knows? That water coming out right there on the left is coming from that manhole cover, which goes over to a drain where all that water is getting taken in. And what else makes this stuff strong is they're using train rail as stabilizers to keep the walls from pushing in, and it's working perfectly. That's what's covered up in the concrete there, more train rails. They also welded train rails together to make trash racks. Ooh, I've never seen graffiti before at the Hoosac tunnel. It looks like here at one point failed, or they had to get in there for some reason and they didn't want to build the rocks back, so they just put an ugly concrete filler in there. That's ultimately what they're gonna build when this thing fails, probably concrete. Like here you can see they even made that part higher, you see? That has concrete so it doesn't erode. And the first trash rack here to stop boulders from rolling through, damaging the tunnel, and to stop sticks and stuff from going in there. There was a big trash rack standing up right there, but because it was clogged, it eroded around, and to avoid any more damage, the railroad company just knocked it over. Then all of back here eroded because the sediment line was almost to the top of this wall. They relieved pressure on this wall. I showed years ago there was a lot of areas water was trickling through this hill, and it was a hazard of washing out the tracks. They've mitigated it, but as you see, that water gushing out of the hill right here is still the same thing. There's also a big sinkhole opening up in here is a big sunken spot because that trickle right there is slowly pulling out ground. Yep, you see up here? If I was here 2 years ago, that's how high the sediment was. See right there? The river was trickling with only like 2 feet of this wall. Now it's eroded down quite a bit. And there's another trash rack up here that they didn't touch. They should have unclogged it and actually fixed the wall. But I'll show you what we got right here. Then I'll time lapse the entire hike. Oh, they actually did unclog it since I was here in the spring. Or do you think it just naturally did that? Wow, that was filled to the top. It's actually empty now. Maybe they kept this one because the walls are in better shape. See, there's a little bit of erosion behind that one. See, it's sunken behind the wall, but not too terrible. And this wall right here is protecting those railroad tracks in the event of a flood. And you see here, you got to climb up this wall to get to the hiking trail. So every now and then you can tell this area fills up with water. That's why nothing's growing there. Who knows, maybe this is what fell last night that I heard. Could have been stuck up in the tree from a thunderstorm. But yeah, cool. It was all this high. They may have actually unclogged that because I don't see that just failing by itself. Especially considering this was the driest. No, I don't think it was the driest year on record for Mass. It was up in my area. But let's do the hike. There's a very defined trail. The hazard tricky part is there's a couple landslides that you got to carefully get around. They're very steep. There's also stinging nettles on this trail. I was speed walking, but this only took 4 minutes to get up to this spot. Look at that beautiful pool with waterfall right there. And right here is the dangerous part. This was a landslide, very steep. If you start rolling, you're not gonna stop. This was a lot worse a couple years ago, but now people have kind of etched a new little goat trail. Watch out for the slippery leaves. So back in the day, what do you think? Was this a little road that a vehicle was able to get up? Must have been, right? To be able to maintain this dam. Wow, look how beautiful those leaves look with the sun hitting them. The sun is just starting to peek through the valley. Speed walking, it only took 7 minutes to get up here. My heart's beating fast, but we made it. So when you come up here, you got a beautiful waterfall. It looks a lot better after a rainstorm. You got an old pipe right here. And this is the concrete dam. You see there's another trash rack. Used to be anyways. Some old timbers. There's a bunch of spikes pounded into the rocks. And there is another waterfall. There's 2 waterfalls coming together. That is so beautiful. Look at that. Both of them in the same picture. Going to fill this old reservoir. This is a pretty cool hike. And there's all kinds of deep little water holes along it. Crystal clear water. Let's get up there real quick, see what's actually behind the dam. Then we're gonna walk back. There's a pipe right there. That looks like it was a bigger pipe. Maybe the discharge if they wanted to empty it. Let sediment out every now and then. This is a big log, but filled to the brim. That's what happens without maintenance. Any dam will fill up with sediment. It's so pretty here, especially with the fall colors. It'll probably look even better over the next couple of weeks as it gets even better. Because this area is a couple of weeks away from full peak foliage. Up north, it's usually the second week of October, but this week, it is probably the last week of September. What day is it? Today is the 27th of September. Unless we see a train on the way out, I'm gonna end the video here and I'll time lapse myself walking back down. Thanks for watching, everyone, and have a great day. Oh my gosh, everyone. I was just standing here, reversing like I am right now, as I was time-lapsing the trail. And what do I see? That's a train light. There's a train coming right now. What a perfect timing. You can't see through this tunnel, it's too long. Very, very long tunnel. Train's at least 5 minutes away still, giving me perfect amount of time to come on over, sit on this nice bench. That was a pretty cool rock I picked up there, wasn't it? It's pretty cool. They got some HO model train tracks, a little piece of the rail. They got some geodes or maybe amethyst in there. Some other various cool looking rocks. Speaking of that, I'm surprised no one stole the couple foot long piece of train rail. But we're gonna sit on this bench right here. Sit alongside me while we wait for this train. This is gonna be exciting. I'm gonna set up my little tripod so the horn doesn't scare me. Look, the signal's green. I'm just waiting for those chimes to start going any moment. It must be going really slow. It's taking forever. And I think you can even see there's a signal tower in the middle there. So it's not even to the halfway point of the tunnel. It's still very, very far. Oh my gosh, everyone, here it comes. Ooh, there goes the chimes on the road. You hear that noise? I hear all the railroad ties buckling. Did you see all the loose leaves starting to fall when it came out of the tunnel? That was pretty cool. It's usually a Norfolk Southern train going through here, so that's different. Wow, all that diesel exhaust, I can smell it, the train pulling it out. The smell of diesel doesn't bother me. It bothers me when they have that DEF fluid. It makes the exhaust smell chemically. Now that'll give me a headache. Trains are definitely going slower than they used to. They used to go a lot faster through here. right, here's the end. This is an awesome place to be a rail fan because see how slow that train's going? You can race it to other awesome filming locations. It's not going very fast. Very easy to catch up to it. And this bridge is longer than the camera made it look because I was zoomed in 10 times. This bridge is also very, very high. And this used to have 2 tracks on it. Remember, the tunnel used to have 2 tracks. This is actually a very, very high bridge. Let me show you how high it is. And the river's still pretty dry. It's been a drier year, like I said. Beautiful. Have a great day, everyone. Look at all that morning dew on my windshield. Amazingly, the tent didn't have a drop of dew on it, but it's a good thing I used a tarp because that was sure wet. Hey, there's wild turkeys here. Look at that. I just stopped at a rest area. We got ahead of the train. The tracks are right on the other side of this river. This is the Deerfield River, and that is a gigantic island with some of the biggest, tallest, lushest, invasive Japanese knotweed I've ever seen. That must be 20 feet tall. It is an absolute jungle of knotweed. Look at that. The whole island is basically knotweed. There's just a couple of trees poking up through it. Once those trees die, new ones will never get started in that. It's kind of cool. Not that it's invasive, but just the look of this place is kind of cool. I kind of want to get the big high boots on and go over there. Explore that jungle. That'd be a cool place to sometime go camping. I wonder on a normal year if it can even get that lush, because that looks like an island that would typically go underwater after storms. I think in a normal year that would get plowed down by the current. That island's only got a couple feet of elevation. That train's gonna be here any moment. For all I know, that train could have stopped. I have no idea. There are dams around here that could flood this out, apparently. Nice trail. Early in the morning. It is only 8:18. I think I hear the train rumbling, but that's okay. We don't need to see it again. I've seen a lot of fishermen out already. I think they like the low water levels because they can get out here really, really far. I think I can get across this with the boots. Let's see. Very clean, crystal clear water. These rocks are not very slippery, so that's good. How deep are we gonna get out here? Okay, this looks a bit deeper here. Let's see. Got a little more current. It's getting deeper. I think this is the deepest spot. Yep, it's getting shallow again. I think I'm gonna go across later there in the little rapids. I think it's more shallow. Oh, never mind. There's a big, big deep hole here. So we gotta go up a bit. And look, there's a piece of that knotweed right there. And somebody left a rock there with a note. I'm gonna climb up on this rock actually. That might help me because this water's getting deep. Almost about to flood the boots. Ooh, climbing up. The seagull's been killing crayfish. There's claws and stuff everywhere. I hear the train chugging back there. Okay. Yep, more shallow here on this side. This is the biggest knotweed I've ever seen. When it has sunlight and water, it gets huge. It lines the Deerfield River. As far as I know, it was along the whole drive. Okay, I guess we just try going in. There's last year's all bent over, so I guess the river doesn't take it away, just pushes it over. But see, it's like bamboo, except it dies to the ground every year. And this stuff, on a dry year, especially in the spring before it starts growing, this can be a huge fire hazard. This stuff, when it first starts sprouting and it's really small, you can cut it off and fry it up like asparagus. It's edible when it's small, and apparently it tastes pretty good. I've never tried it, but I want to sometime. Let's go for a little walk and explore this island. So it's very dense in there. Yes, you could carve a trail through there and probably make a spot to camp or something. Pretty interesting place. And I've seen other patches of knotweed, not nearly this big, and I've thought about it for a few years. I feel like it would be fun to camp in there. Okay, let's see if I can cross right here. This is not where I planned on, but I think we can. This is the deepest spot. Looks like it's gonna get more shallow. Okay, here we go, here we go. We're getting more shallow again. We are during a drought now, technically, so I don't think that they're going to be releasing random water from the dam, but on a normal year, this would not be a safe spot to spend the night, because I don't know how much they would flood it. Based on the evidence, based on how There's still the dead stuff from last year. I don't think it happens very often, if ever. Those beavers are trying to get down a real big tree. They probably girdled it. It's probably gonna die now. But that's probably what they want, it to fall over.